Hey, what's up guys, Benny here, and Season 4 has arrived, bringing with it 3 brand new weapons to use in Call of Duty Warzone: the C58 Assault Rifle, the MG82 LMG, and then the nail gun, as well as a whole ton of tuning weapon updates that is really going to change up the meta. So if you are new around here, please take a second to hit that subscribe button as we go through all the brand new weapons as well as those weapon updates, so you know what you need to be running in Season 4. And we're going to start off with this C58. Now, from the gameplay that you can see, it's a low fire rate, high power assault rifle with practically no recoil. Like, this is the thing that blew my mind with this weapon, is you do not need to run a grip with it because it is so steady. It fires at around a 600 round per minute fire rate, so it's on the lower side, but of course you've got those higher damage profiles. Now, with the AMAX receiving that nerf, there's going to be a kind of fight for the assault rifle meta. Personally, I kind of feel like it's going to go towards the AK-47 because of those barrel updates, which we will go through later on in the video. But for me, the C58, really good assault rifle. Like, especially when I was hitting upper chest and those headshots, I was getting a really fast time to kill within Storage Town. Now, at those long distances, when you've got the top barrels available, which we'll go through the best class setup, you got to have a very high bullet velocity, so it's going to be easy to track your targets and hit your shots, because as I said, this isn't a really high fire rate. There's no real recoil to it, so you can track really easily, land your shots. However, because of the low fire rate, there is kind of less margin for error, so to speak. So if you're missing your shots consistently, you're gonna lose gunfights against the higher rate weapons. And I think that's what really, kind of a really nice balance with this update, is we've got a kind of low steady fire rate assault rifle. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Remington from Call of Duty Ghosts, and then we've got a really high fire rate LMG, and then a close range weapon which dominates. Like, it is one of the fastest time to kills in the game. But like I said, C58, solid fire rate, solid damage profile, a great all-round assault rifle. I don't know if it's going to compete with the AK-47. However, it is definitely usable. I think that's one of the big things Raven have got really well right now, is there are so many options. But let's go ahead and check out the class setup for the C58 so you know what to run with it before you get it in Warzone. So this is the class setup that you're going to want to go ahead and have for the C58. The muzzle, you're going to go for that agency suppressor. It's pretty much a no-brainer for any mid to long range AR in Warzone. Sound suppression, vertical recoil control, bullet velocity, and effective damage range. And combine that with the buffs that have happened to the assault rifle and LMG barrels with Season 4. Your effective damage range, recoil control, and bullet velocity is going to be off the charts. So now for me personally, I'm going to be using this as a mid to long range weapon, so I'm going to go for the 18.5 Task Force barrel. That's going to increase that bullet velocity, effective damage range by once again quite a lot, because we'll see all the changes a little later on in the video. But the only punishment to that is aim walking movement speed, hip fire accuracy, aim down sight speed, and sprinting move speed. Not all that important for an assault rifle for mid to long range, so go for that 18.5 Task Force barrel. Next, we're going to go for the ammo here, which we're going to go for the Stagnag 55 round. This pretty much just gives you the large ammo size, so you can take out multiple squads and trios and quads without the huge punishment that the fast mag does. So the 55 round mag is the one that I'm personally going to be using. Then, because we're using it at range, going to go for that actual arms 3 times. We've got one more attachment to use, and you've got a couple choices. Now, as you saw from the gameplay, this doesn't have that much recoil, so you don't need to go for an underbarrel at all. You kind of want to go ahead and increase your ADS speed with this, because we've punished it a little bit with the barrel choices. So I'm going to go for the Serpent Wrap. That's going to increase that ADS speed so I can snap onto my opponents a little bit better. And that is my best class setup for the C58. The MG82. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I had a lot of fun using this weapon. It's got a very high fire rate, a very solid damage profile, and no recoil once again. It's really easy to use. And it feels like it's almost like the cousin to the FAR, but the LMG version, because it's got around a 900 round per minute fire rate, which is very similar to the FAR assault rifle, but large mag size, no recoil. The downside, just like with any LMG, is it's not really got the mobility compared to the assault rifles. But if you're just laying down shots with this, you're going to absolutely shred. It's doing like 39 damage for a headshot, 33 to the body. So a really solid damage profile that's going to give you a very fast time to kill. The downside with it, I'm going to be honest, is it is that mobility. So if you're trying to run around the map, but there are going to be some builds that you can do to increase that mobility that could make it a lot more viable within the game's meta. But I did feel like I was a bit of a stationary turret when I was using this. But like I said, you can see it. You just put shots down and spray. Sadly, you don't get a larger ammo ammo capacity when you're using an LMG, which I feel because of the fire rate and the mag size, you're gonna run out of ammo pretty quickly. Because I just found myself here when I was in a gunfight, just spraying, just like holding down that trigger just to try to pick those kills up. But like I said, the assault rifles, also the LMGs along with the assault rifles, also received a buff to their barrels in the Season 4 update. So they're going to be a lot more viable than they were prior to Season 4, because as we all know, mid to long range, it was the AMAX. There wasn't really any alternative. But if you want to be that person holding down a position, taking down multiple people in trios and quads, the MG82, I'm not going to lie, could be it. It's definitely the best LMG out of all the Cold War LMGs. It's kind of felt like the closest. The first time I've considered running one since the Bruin, because the Stoner, even though it was really solid, just never really had that stopping power. But let's go ahead, check out the best class setup that you're going to want to have for the MG82. As you just watch it, just like hold down that trigger and spray. Beautiful. So the best class setup for the MG82, which I feel is like the cousin to the FAR, but in the LMG category. It's got like the similar fire rate of 900 rounds per minute, which is going to lead some incredible fast time to kills. So what you're going to want on the muzzle is not the agency suppressor. Now, the reason I'm not going for the agency suppressor is because of the buffs to the barrels of the LMGs with Season 4. But you need to make an LMG a bit more mobile. So for that reason, I'm going to go for the base suppressor, which is going to give me a faster sprint to fire time and aim down sight time, making it a bit more viable in the pacing of Warzone. Because if you're like really slow and sluggish, this is not going to be a fun weapon to use, and you need that quick ADS so you don't get caught out too badly. So the suppressor is a no-brainer. Now, next, we're going to go for, we've got pretty much two very similar weapon attachments with the match grade and the task force now. Because as you can see, they both do exactly the same thing, just the match grade not as much as the task force. So I'm going to go for the base task force barrel. That's going to give me the highest bullet velocity, effective damage range possible, so I can take down my targets as quickly as I can at a distance. The next attachment that you're going to want with this thing is the ammo. I'm going to go for the 125 round speed mag, faster reload. 150 is just a bit too much, going to punch your ADS too much. 125, little sweet spot, going to be able to take multiple targets down, and also with the ammo supply that you have in Warzone, you're not going to burn out too quickly. Like it's a small thing to bear in mind, but you're not going to get two full reloads with the 150 rounds, so it's not really worth that punishment. Right, the next thing that we're going to be doing is the optic. Going to have the actual arms 3 times on once again, just for mid to long range. Want to be able to land those shots. Now the optics are really clean. It's really nice to see. And then the final attachment, you could go for a stock, but once again, I'm going to go for that ADS speed with the Serpent Wrap, which I found really helps a lot of the Black Ops Cold War weapons. It's going to make this really snappy, really clean. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. But let's go check out the nail gun. So the third new weapon added in Season 4 is the nail gun, and there's quite a few interesting things with this actually. First of all, you cannot add any attachments to the nail gun. The nail gun is the nail gun. Once you've got it, you've got it. If you don't like it, well, tough. It is what it is. But up close, like in buildings, this thing is ridiculous. Now, the second they get a little bit further away, forget it. You're not landing a shot and you're not getting a kill. But inside the buildings, right up close to people, they just drop. And it kind of worries me because I feel like we could end up in a situation where you could just get corner campers with a nail gun, and if they pop out at you, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, you can do, because the time to kill up close is so fast. Like I said, there are a lot of negatives. It's got a really small mag size. It's only got 20 rounds. It's not the it's got very low bullet velocity, so even at that distance you saw I was struggling to land my shots. But right here, you just slide in, drop shot people, and they drop like nearly instantly. There's not much they can do to survive or get out of the way of it. And it's going to be an interesting situation. So in like solos, this is going to be unbelievable, because if you're inside of buildings, if you pair this with kind of like a multi-use assault rifle, like an AK-47, you're going to be in a perfect position to like hold down buildings. No one's really going to be able to stop you. And as I said, there is no attachments needed. So if you get it from the store, you've got it straight away. The unlock for it is quite annoying. You've got to get 5 kills in 15 different matches, completed matches with special weapons, which isn't the easiest to do, but honestly, nail gun, really good weapon. But I want to go ahead and go through the weapon patch notes quickly so you know exactly the changes that have happened to assault rifles and LMGs. So as we know, the MG82 got added, the C58 has been added, the nail gun's been added, we've got a couple other weapons, and there's been a whole ton of changes. Like the Groza got a buff, the Scar actually received a buff, but the big one is the upper torso damage being dropped for the AMAX. The Groza is going to be great. We'll be covering all of these new weapon changes in another video, so you know exactly what you need to be running. But the big one for like the new weapons especially is the changes to the attachments, and this is what's going to really interest a lot of you. Is Ranger assault rifles have had their bullet velocity increased by 50%, vertical recoil control by 15%, and increased hip fire spread by 20%. So effectively what they've been doing with the changes is punishing the close range effectiveness of assault rifles, like damaging hip fire spread, sprint to fire, ADS speed with a lot of these things, sprint to fire speed, but increasing the stats that make it a good assault rifle, so medium to long range, because like the AMX is dominated and it's just not being really competed with. And as you can see, Task Force, Spetsnaz, RPK, CMV for assault rifles, LMGs, all being buffed. So now you're going to get 50% more bullet velocity, which is huge. Effective damage range by 35%, so you're going to hold those high damage profiles at further distances. So Cold War assault rifles are now going to be insane, and more importantly, it's the horizontal and vertical recoil control by 15%, which also kind of negates the need to have a grip on some of the assault rifles. That's why I said with the C58, it's really slow, steady, easy to use, and easy to land those shots. You don't necessarily need to now run a grip, which means that you can get mobility elsewhere, even though they've punished like the ADS move speed, ADS speed by 6%, increased by hip fire by 30%, now increases hip fire spread by 30%. But pretty much they've said it here. Recoil control has been has long been a detractor to the long range viability of Black Ops Cold War weapons. These changes will help alleviate that and provide a more diverse selection of weapons in that engagement space. Honestly, Raven have gone ahead and done a great job with the weapon balancing in this update. Personally, I believe the C58 is a viable assault rifle. It's going to be really easy to use, much like the Kilo, to be perfectly honest with you. The high fire rate of the MG82 gives it one of the fastest time to kills at medium to long range. So it's going to make it viable, but you've got to make a decision whether that loss of mobility is worth it to you, especially with those long, big mag sizes. You're going to see some insane squad wipes with the MG82. And then the nail gun is just obscene. You are going to hate it if it gets used against you in a building. But go ahead, give it a go. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you for more Call of Duty Warzone later on. Thanks for watching.